hi to the people? Yes, I know it's dinner time. Don't scratch me, your nails are getting very, very, very scary. And I can't clip them alone without Aaron here. Excuse me. Wait, oh, that's not where they are. It's here. Hi, yes. Definitely get right in the way so that I can trample you as I try to feed you. And also claw me with your very sharp talons. Thank you. Meow. Yeah, I know. You're hungry. You've been waiting like a very, very patient gentleman. We're gonna smush some of this food. Turn on this light. Ooh, bright. Yes, we like bright lights. Smushing some of your food. This is half of his batch. We're gonna mix it with some warm water so that he gets some nice warm soupy food. And then before I feed him, I'm gonna try to Flovent him. And I did this successfully twice before, but there was one time where I failed and just gave up. So we'll see if I fail or succeed tonight on this episode of Flovent with Fred. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, I know. Yes. Yes. Tell me you love me. Soup. Yes. Delicious. Yum. So I watered down his food a lot to begin with, but this batch is going to be especially watery because you're actually supposed to flush your mouth out after taking Flovent, which is a medication inhaler for his asthma. Otherwise you'll get thrush in your mouth. So we haven't been really able to successfully spray water into his mouth without him freaking out. So we, following the advice of a couple of viewers, just decided to feed him watery slop right after his medication. Yeah, I know, bud. But we're gonna give you your meds first, okay, bud? I'm sorry. I know you hate this. So this is Flovent. This inhaler was over $300 US. There are approximately 70 doses left. You shake it before you use it. You take the cap off. And then for kitties, you have this AeroCat inhaler. His little snout goes in here, and I insert the inhaler on this end. And as he breathes, he's supposed to take 7 to 10 breaths. This little flubby thing will go. So. All right, you ready, Fred? Down. Be a good boy. 1, 2. Oh, I know you hate it. 3. Oh, no. Fred. I know. We gotta do a few more. I'm sorry, but a few more. Down. Okay. 4. I know. 5, 6. I know. One more. 7, 8. Oh, good boy. All right. Now he gets food. Yes. And there you get Flovent with Fred, episode 1. Tune back in for more exciting content. Yeah, crazy that this costs $300. Yeah, pet insurance costs a lot too. We're thinking about it. We're gonna figure it out soon. Slowly getting things in order, little by little, you know. Yes, being healthy in the U.S. is a true luxury. A lot of people can't afford it, and it truly sucks. Even for cats and dogs. Guys, happy Friday! $300 gives you about 120 doses. He takes 1 dose every day. We're supposed to give him 2 doses every day, but it's like basically human medication, and he's like 12 pounds. So we just decided to torture him once a day, and it seems to be helping him anyway, so that's what matters, I hope. I mean, it's just a treatment to get his attacks under control, so. Oh, Amy, I'm sorry. Rebecca, that's a lot of doggies. Are you done? Do you want more? Yes, vision and dental are separate insurances. So when I pay for health insurance, I actually opt out of vision because I just don't want to, I mean, it doesn't cost that much. It costs maybe like, I don't know, $7 a month to get vision, but I'm just like, I don't want to pay for vision. So I actually don't have vision insurance. Dental is separate. I think dental costs me somewhere between like, I don't know, $25 and $35 every pay period, or no, every month, maybe? I think every month. And then I have to pay health insurance premiums on top of that. And I have a high deductible plan, which means that I actually have to pay a lot of co-pays if I actually need to see a doctor. Hi. Which, speaking of, I just saw the doctor today for the first time in like 2.5 years for a physical, and I used to have a autoimmune kidney condition called IgA nephropathy, and this doctor was very nice. It was my first time seeing her, but she was like, you should keep an eye on that. Like every time you have blood work done and your analysis, you should get those metrics levels checked out. And so I was like, of course, let's check it out. But I also, as I said, of course, remember that the last time I asked the doctor for 2 additional hormone checks on my blood work, I got charged, I think I got charged like $280 for 2 hormones added on to my blood work. So I can't wait to see what the bill is this time for tacking on. I don't even know how many items she tacked on to do that routine check-in with my kidney functions, but I'm scared. Healthcare in this country really fucking sucks, guys. It really fucking sucks. Vision and health insurance is not under one policy. So my health insurance is under United, and vision, if I opted in, and dental are under MetLife. So I think those are 2 different providers. It's insane, guys. It's insane, guys. They took the blood already. Can it really cost like over $100 a piece for testing 1 extra level in the same blood? I don't know how it works, but it just does not make sense to me. For thinking back to when I earned $10 an hour, that meant that I basically had to work 2 days post-tax. to pay for one of those extra hormones that got tagged on in my blood work. So it's just, I mean, woof. You better hope you don't have any health conditions if you live in the US, because you're either rich enough to live or you're not. Whew. Yes, sad boy, that's essentially it. Dying people, pain and misery make a lot of fucking money. We have these really sad bananas. These are actually fine-ish. They're starting to go really soft. This one in particular is like, dang girl, you liquid inside, you know? That's liquid inside. So we're gonna pop one open and we're going to see how bad they are, and we'll probably just freeze them. Hi, Nez. Wow. Fredo, are you done? That's it, buddy. That's it, babe. No more food for you. Hello, Finding Faith's son. What's his name? This one actually is not bad. I'm gonna peel this one, this really scary one. Oh, that's not bad at all. Guys, that's not bad. That's really not bad. I think I'm just gonna keep letting these rot until I shoot Budget Eats, you know? Hey! Off! Thank you. Gross. Poopy paws all over my banana container. I hate you. No, I don't. Sorry. Didn't mean that. That's really not bad, guys. It's not even liquid yet. It's just soft. I'm gonna eat this little nub, this little creamy nub. Dude, that is delicious. Yum. Lena, they are starting to get very fermenty, but in a good way. I know you're thinking about it. I know you're thinking about it. But I will just say that these bananas, so I got a dollar bunch of bananas again, and these got like really smashed on the bottom, so they're gonna go really soft soon. But these are Cavendish bananas, and they're the most popular kind, at least here in the North American market. But these are actually burro bananas, so they're a little bit different, and they don't taste as sweet, and so I feel like they're a little bit lower in starch and therefore a little bit lower in sugars once they start ripening like this, so they don't actually taste as sickeningly sweet as Cavendish bananas. You can see that they're a little bit stouter and they're a little bit more hearty. I'm drinking duck rice genmai cha. I haven't heard about banana extinction. Jeez, is that a thing? Yikes. Guys, I'm so in need of cleaning out my fridge. It's getting crazy in here. I might have to do that tomorrow. Ugh. Okay, cheese time. Hi, Fred. I took a walk in Manhattan today because I went to go see my doctor, And then I dropped by the Whole Foods at Bryant Park and I saw cheeses and I was like, dang, I want some cheese. And I remember that Aaron had given me like $100 Whole Foods gift card like maybe 3 years ago. Thank goodness gift cards never expire because I still had like 20 bucks left on it. So I bought some body wash and I bought some cheese. And this cheese was like the last of its kind in the case. And I have that thing where if I see anything that's the last of its kind, oh yeah, the fridge is smelling really farty, Stephanie. If I ever see anything that's the last of its kind on the shelf, I really want it. So this one is let me pull it up on my photos actually. Because I took a photo of the case description. Excuse me, I just burped. Chivy. I'm eating through all of my dumpling fillings, and so today I ate a lot of chives. Okay guys, can you see the description? I will read it to you if you can't, and then you can also see Fred. It's called Bella Vitano Rum Runner, and it is made in Plymouth, Wisconsin, and it is called Sartori cheese. And Sartori's classic balance of salt and sweet is perfect for this rum-infused cheese made exclusively for Whole Foods Market. So it's pretty firm. I would say it's like a nicely aged cheddar consistency. It's not really giving to my hands. Yeah, Wisconsin cheese, man. Yes, it smells wonderfully nutty and sweet. Kind of like a really nice Parmesan. And crossed with a little bit of, what do you think, Fred? What does it smell like to you? Not good. Fred doesn't like it. It smells wonderful to me. I can't quite remember what this reminds me of. It reminds me of something like Asian and sweet. Hold on. I'm just gonna keep smelling. Oh my god, yes, okay, I know exactly what this reminds me of. Okay, this reminds me of a cross between, it smells like 40% Parmesan and then 60% salted egg yolk shortbread Chinese pastry. If you've ever smelled those like grainy, rich salted egg yolk pastries, like egg yolk mooncakes with like that lard flaky exterior. Bye, Fred. Love me and leave me. Use me. This smells amazing. Whoa. I can smell this all day. I bet this cheese smells better than it tastes. Oh my god. So I got it because it has rum in it, but also because it was the last one of its kind. So let's open it and let's eat it and let's taste it. Cheese, Fred, cheese. Are you so excited? I'm so excited. Can you be excited? Can you be excited for me? Oh god. Oh god. Oh, I need to take my vitamins. Hold on. For those of you who were here when I started eating my Romesco experiments, I've now eaten 3 of them already. It's quite insane. I have a lot of almonds, hazelnuts, olive oil, and garlic in me. waiting for food. Are you sad I'm not feeding you anymore? Okay, we got my paring knife. I'm gonna tune back to my, Del, what's wrong? Why are you miserable? Del, I don't know if this is going to make you feel better, worse, or the same, but I cried in a team meeting this week. That was fun. Just gets to a point where you're just like, can't hold it in anymore. I'm really stressed and upset, and I don't know why I'm crying now of all times when I've held it in together fine on other days. But yes, in this team meeting where my editor-in-chief is sitting, let me just uncontrollably cry while I talk about stress. Cheese does not make me farty, no. Milk is. So. I love this paring knife. It is La Fourmi, Fourmi, and I don't know what this means, but it says wait. I think it's an N. Fait bon profit. Made good profit? That can't be right. But anyway, it's supposed to be made in France, and I bought it for 12 bucks, and at the time I was like, geez, 12 bucks for a paring knife? But now I'm like, yes, I'm so glad I spent this money. Did you know that after you open cheese, a block of cheese within the next 3 days, so it doesn't really matter? Let me switch angles so you can look at this better. So there's a little bit of like white bloominess happening that looks probably a little bit like mold, but that's just cheesy goodness, right? The rind looks not very separated from the cheese itself. Pretty coherent little block, not a lot of, coloration changes. And there are, I don't know if you can see, but like little tiny white speckles of those salt crystals. MSG! MSG! Yes, Jenny, it is green onions. MSG! Yes, Jenny, it is green onions. How much was the cheese? This was $15.99 a pound, and this is a third of a pound, so it was $5.44. Am I answering all of your questions? Aline, I'm glad you're here. Aline, I'm glad you're here. I'm sorry everybody's having a really shitty fucking week, but I don't know exactly why and what's happening in everyone's lives, but it seems like the world is quote unquote getting back to normal. We're being told to like go back to the office, and everybody's not feeling normal, and we're just not ready to be normal. At least for me, I'm not ready to be normal. How's that? It does not feel normal yet. Ooh, I'm sorry. Is it still laggy? That's weird. That's weird. Sorry guys. I don't know why the stream is skipping. It looks fine on my playback screen. But you let me know if it's okay now. Yeah, I just really wanted to treat myself today. I obviously Whole Foods is owned by Amazon, but I already had a gift card there, so I was like, all right, just let me just spend the gift card. And I was in the area, and I was like, let me just make myself feel like something, and let me just buy this cheese so that I can have something to look forward to, and let me breathe a little bit of new life into this existence. So that was my thinking. There you go. Latavia, you watched the camping video, didn't you? I was so surprised at how much I liked White Claw, and I was honestly very scared that it did not taste like alcohol. Terrifying that it did not taste like alcohol. So I could have probably gotten wasted on that without even feeling it. Nice little tiny holes in there. Flavor pockets. Maybe the angels took it. Smells so good, guys. I love this cheese smell. It smells like Parmesan rind, but it doesn't feel like Parmesan rind. You know that nutty smell that Parmesan rind has? That smell. Slightly waxy. It reminds me of prepackaged pineapple cakes too. My mouth is just like salivating, sorry. Okay. Wow. At first bite, I was like, oh yeah, it definitely smells better than it tastes, but then you keep chewing, and it tastes exactly like it smells. Like, it starts to taste like that salted egg yolk pastry. It starts to taste like that shortbread that surrounds that pineapple cake. It has that saltiness from Parmesan, but it doesn't have that like crumbliness and waxiness that Parmesan can sometimes have. It has a nice density and softness to it that lets your teeth sink into it the way that cheddar would. But it's a little bit grittier than cheddar. Not in that sharp cheddar way, but in that, what cheese does this remind me of? The texture kind of, melts into this slightly gritty puddle in your mouth. It's not like a super great texture, but it's not off-putting either. Definitely not as smooth as some cheddars. The texture reminds me of when you melt cheese into milk and it kind of starts separating into fat on top. But this would taste amazing on crackers. There's like so many little pockets in here too. I don't know if you can see on my shitty camera with my shitty YouTuber hands. But yeah. Cheese. How did you like cooking for other people? I loved it. I really appreciated everyone's different reviews, and I mean, you saw my face. I loved it when Justin gave me like a 6.5 because I was like, yes, give me the critiques. I don't know why people in the comments get so offended when people give me low ratings, because I love to be critiqued, because I want to know what doesn't work for you in this dish. It's just, I'm not really taking it as a way of saying you failed, June. I'm taking it as a way of like learning more about the person who's eating. Like, what do you like? What do you not like? And so in a lot of ways, me feeding someone and for someone else to give me their honest feedback about what works for them and what doesn't work for them is kind of like a bonding experience. I'm just getting to learn more about you. So it's not really about me in that moment and whether or not I succeeded, because I already grade myself mentally in my head about, did I like this? Did I do well on this? what other people say to me is just one way for me to understand more about them. So I like it. I honestly, in college, and I still feel this way, I said that if I could have anything in the world granted to me, it would be the ability to give everyone a truth serum, and for me to just like sit down and talk to them for an hour, and for them to tell me everything they think about me, truthfully, without any worry of, thank you, without any worry of they're hurting my feelings, because I just want to know sometimes, you know? I just want to know what you think. That's all. I love the texture on this cheese. It's so interesting. It's like a hybrid of Parmesan and cheddar. Tastes like a hybrid too. People are so afraid of honest feedback, and I don't know why that is. Santa Cruz, baby. So yes, I still have a jar of it. I love their dark roasted stuff, and Santa Cruz, unfortunately, is owned by the same conglomerate that owns Smucker's and Jif, so they're huge, and obviously I don't like supporting huge companies, but I do have to say, out of the commercial brands, Santa Cruz, Smucker's, and I can't believe I'm saying this, I used to hate Jif, but that natural Jif, super addictive for me. Super creamy, super smooth, super like light, slightly whipped, but still stick to your tongue and roof of your mouth feeling, and still has peanut taste. I might have to give regular Jif a try sometime in the future, but maybe not, because I think I just really like the natural version of Jif. But yeah, if you have no qualms about supporting huge brands, then go ahead and get you some Santa Cruz organic creamy dark roasted peanut butter, or chunky, whatever you want. I haven't found Adams that is regional. Aldi peanut butter, really? I don't know if I've seen Aldi natural peanut butter. I've seen like processed shit. Does it have palm oil in it? Yep. I agree, Jack. How well you cook is not necessarily judged when it's a matter of taste. That's the hard part of ratings. Taste is so subjective. Completely agree. So I bought some sun-dried tomatoes because I thought I was going to use it as part of my recipe development, but I didn't use it. So now I'm just gonna eat some sun-dried tomatoes with cheese. Do you think that'll taste good? This is the snack of dreams. With balsamic? Wow. Okay. The last time somebody suggested balsamic, it was a win. So I'm gonna do it. And to the question, what do I use to sharpen my knife? I actually sharpened my knife on a previous live. I use a whetstone. It's like a Japanese whetstone. That's way too much vinegar. Oops. Thank you, sad boy, for the 2.1. I do make my own peanut butter sometimes, but I don't love it. All right, here we go, guys. Tomato, cheese, and a little swim in balsamic. That was good. But I gotta say, I enjoy the cheese on its own the most. We have some scallions growing from cuttings, and that's supposed to be a lime basil plant. But it doesn't smell like basil or lime. It smells like nothing. Hi, Katriana. A lot of people say that they can use mugs to sharpen knives, which I've never tried, but if it works for you guys. I'm just gonna try the cheese with some balsamic now. Because honestly, this cheese is delicious with the sun-dried tomatoes, but it's so stellar on its own. I don't want to dilute it. But I'm trying it with some balsamic. It's okay. It almost makes it taste butterier towards the end. Fascinating. Bye, Del. What do I eat the rest of this balsamic with now? I poured too much. Oops. I'm just gonna eat the rest of my dumpling leftovers. It's like potato and some starchy wheat noodles. I think I want to warm it up a little, you know? Treat myself with a little warmth. Are you waiting for food? What if I'm not giving it to you? You somehow always magically know when to turn up for food. We're gonna take my vitamins now. I have a vitamin D. Cheese with chocolate chip cookies? You cray! Is this Salt and Straw, the Portland ice cream place? Vitamin C. I love Salt and Straw so much. Salt and Straw was my favorite ice cream place until I discovered Ice and Vice in New York, and then Ice and Vice closed because of the pandemic, and my heart was broken forever. So we got some potato mash, a little bit of glass noodles, and I'm gonna pour my balsamic in here. We'll see how that tastes. Probably not good. I should try this on its own first. Mmm. Jenny, Aaron's gone for the next 10 days. Somebody missed a stream. Were you looking forward on hating on him? Van Leeuwen is pretty good. But I had some ice cream from their truck, and it was like really icy, and I just got turned off by their quality control. I also do like the flavors at Morgenstern's. I think they do it really well, but they also have issues with consistency control because I've also gotten very icy chunks of ice cream before. And also they're like bougie as fuck, and they're so hipster, and they're kind of mean to you where they do that thing where they make you feel like they're too good to actually serve you. So it got like pretty hipsterized on TV shows, and so it turned into a more hip, bougie shit. Ample Hills, very sweet. I've been told I should try their old-fashioned flavors like pistachio, but I only tried like the ooey gooey butter cake and like a salted caramel thing, and it was actually the first scoop of ice cream that I didn't want to finish because it was too sweet. I love Turkish ice cream. Very interesting texture. Can be very, very, very nice and plain and not sweet. Yum! Okay, mashed potatoes with balsamic. Not bad. You can smell it, but you can't eat it. Do you want it? Did you want some? There's too much garlic in here for you, bud. Actually, did we put garlic in here? I've had like kimchi ice cream at Salt and Straw. I've not tried Meat Fresh. What is Meat Fresh? Bye, Fred. Where can you get Turkish ice cream in the US? It's become more of a thing in recent years. And so there's like, Turkish ice cream is the kind with mastic gum mixed into it, right? So I forget the name, but in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, there's a shop that sells, like, specializes in Turkish ice cream. I've also had, maybe it's not Turkish ice cream per se, but I've also had like Middle Eastern ice cream shops in Bay Ridge in Brooklyn, where they also have ice creams that are mixed with mastic gum, so. I love Talenti, but I only love their salted caramel. I think all their other flavors are fine, but salted caramel with the little chunks of chocolate in it, super good. They're also, I think they're also owned by like a huge conglomerate, so I'm just like, whatever about supporting them and buying their shit. But if it's on sale and I'm yearning ice cream and salted caramel is there, I'll grab a pint. I also love to reuse their plastic containers. Lee, did you not watch the Camping Budget Eats yet? Did I go to Wegmans? Have you tried any plant-based ice cream that you like? Maybe? I feel like cashew is the way to go. Worst ice cream flavor? Very interesting question. I don't know. What is the worst ice cream flavor? No. Well, I don't hate well-cooked pasta, but I would rather not eat. I would rather eat al dente pasta. Okay, guys, this is really good. I like my dinner today. Bye, Brie Elder. Yeah, so we went to Wegmans for that haul. I've also gone to Wegmans before with Aaron and his family when we visited upstate together. And there's also a Wegmans now in Brooklyn, but it's not the same. Trader Joe's has a cold brew boba vegan ice cream. That's a lot of stuff. Bubblegum ice cream should not exist. You hate ice cream, Rebecca? How? queso. That's a very minority opinion. That I feel like a lot of the comments are like, best episode of Budget Eats ever. But I get it. I go hot dog, Linda. Because I think hot dog tastes better with charred grill than burgers. Okay, we have come across the final portion of our evening schedule programming. So I got sent these Citron peppercorns, which you might have seen on my Instagram stories yesterday, and they're from 50 Hertz, which they were also kind enough to send Aaron and me some Citron chili oil. And it says, in preparation for launching our new Citron pepper products, we asked community members to help us identify which dried Citron peppercorns we should source. And so we have 4 kinds. 2 of them are reds, 2 of them are greens, and we're supposed to grate them. So let's do that. This is fun. I wish Aaron were here. It would be nice to do this with Aaron. He is a Citron king, Citron appreciator. Ben and Jerry's is too sweet for me. I agree. Tammy, I'm not waiting for Aaron. He's not waiting for me. He's living his life for the next 10 days in Turkey, so I gotta live mine too. Okay. Reds. Reds are up first. We got these. Oh, I need some lights. Y'all can't see shit. Maybe that's better. Oh, y'all still can't see shit. There you go. 2 different kinds of Citron peppercorns, both red. I will just tell you now, this one looks a lot more vibrant in person than this one. Come on, light. Can you do better? Sorry, I didn't give you a chance to succeed. Hold on. Well, one's on the left and one's on the right. So, I'm gonna cover one up. Smell it. Smells fine. A little bit pea-like, actually. I'm gonna say mild pea. Yum. And we're gonna smell this other one. Toasty pea. So the right one looks darker and smells toastier, which leads me to believe that it's either older or dried in a specific way, or, yikes, this lighting is really not working. Urgh. Why do they both smell like pea? I don't get it. Yeah, so I definitely prefer the mild pea, the fresher one. This one is redder and brighter too, so that checks. And then taste, just a small bite is enough, it's potent. They say that you can lightly fry them in oil and butter or grind and add to your food. If you do take a bite, a tiny bit will suffice. Yes, I'm assuming that this will just blast my entire taste buds out of everywhere. So, I'm just gonna take a little tiny piece. Tiny piece. Fred, you're breathing really heavy there, bud. it didn't taste like much at the beginning. And it really kicks in on the numbing aspect. My tongue is so astringent right now, and the tip of it is starting to get that like buzzy feeling, and I'm salivating. I don't know how I'm supposed to taste test these. It's not gonna be fair. I guess I'll just eat some potato in between. Huh. Never try Citron peppercorn straight. It's just not pleasant. For me, it's not pleasant. Okay, we're closing the pink on the left, the more vibrant one, and we're moving on to the slightly toasted pea one. This one is more floral, I would say. It smells a little more floral. Definitely looks darker. So citron peppercorn sometimes comes with the black seeds, the kernels in the middle, and you're not actually supposed to eat that. It's very crunchy and gritty and unpleasant. This one is immediately more toasty. I think I would actually buy the toastier one because it's much more fragrant. Interesting. I've been drinking the tea leaves for the genmai cha because they're very choppy and soft. And there's also, in the genmai cha, there's rice. And it's super delicious and toasty roasty. So I do drink all the leaves because otherwise I have to strain it out, press all the water out, throw it in my compost. It's just a few extra steps. I might as well just eat the fiber. But for other teas, I don't normally eat the tea leaves, no. This has a very edible texture. It's nice and tender. Other teas, not so much. More fibrous or gritty. Dudes, I don't even know if I should continue. I'm starting to lose taste abilities now. I'm saying P-double-E. Taste. Oh man. The vibrations are spreading to the inner part of my lips. You know, like where the lipstick doesn't reach? That part of my lips is starting to get tingly now. Ah. Food break. It's not spicy, guys. It's just a very interesting sensation on your lips where there's like little tiny bees busy buzzing inside your mouth and lips. It's just like all over, tiny little vibrations. And my mouth tastes very cooling now. It tastes like there's like a minty fresh breeze, but it's also kind of astringent and rounded in sensation instead of like a straight sharp spearmint. So it's a very interesting experience. Bye, Linda. Only the tip of my tongue touched it, so not my entire tongue is numb, but the tip is starting to get numb, and also my lips are starting to get numb. It's actually a really enjoyable sensation for me if I plan on eating mala food. I really like having that. There's not a lot of foods that make you feel and be aware of your body like eating Szechuan peppercorns really makes me become aware of my mouth. You know, like where my lips are oriented, where my tongue is, like the volume and the space and the. I ate so much Szechuan peppercorns when Aaron and I went to Chengdu, and we ordered this rabbit dish that was just like strewn with 10% green, fresh Szechuan peppercorns. They were so good, so delicious, and I was just eating all of those Szechuan pepper berries. And Aaron was like, "You're crazy," and I was like, "Yes." And by the end of that meal, I had like Kylie Jenner lips. Like my lips were plump. Okay, so if you ever just want to have natural plump, numb lips, eat some fresh Szechuan peppercorns. Yes, he is. Yes, he is super cute. Hi, Fred. Hi, Minneapolis. All right. The greens. Guys, look. I have a left and a left. So these, I think, are contact lens containers. This one is left and right. But this one says left and left. How fun. Yeah, Szechuan peppercorn can be bitter, especially if they didn't take out that middle part. How does this camera work? There we go. So green Szechuan peppercorns are usually less toasty, a lot fresher, a lot more citrusy in taste, and a lot more floral and vibrantly verdant in smell. So that one smells really good to me. The blue one on the left. And then this one smells much less strong. And this one smells a little more pea-like. So right away, I'm leaning towards this one, the left one. I just lost a few. Dang, I like green Szechuan peppercorns more than red. Oh, that sucks. Okay. To be honest, they don't look that different to me. Hi, Fred. Have you come to smell the Szechuan peppercorns? Aw, you trash cat, you. Trash boy. Bye, trash boy. I think the ones on the right look thicker. They almost look like furrier, but that's not quite right. They don't really look furrier, but they look thicker. So the ones on the left look greener, slightly greener, and more clearly textured. So it's 2 for 2 on the visual and the smell for the left one. And then now we go in for the taste, huh? Yeah, I cut that box for Fred, but he like tried to sit in it and then he was like, I don't fit. So let me just skedaddle, and he didn't try again. So I'm kind of bummed. He's not very cat-like in a lot of ways, which I like. Okay, tiny bite. Oh yeah, this one's bitter. Roasty, toasty, bitter. And then it kicks in with citrusy astringency. And here comes the numb. Yeah, I don't recommend eating citron peppercorns plain, guys. It's really not that enjoyable. LOL. Do you want to smell, Fredo? Oh, big yawn, my boy. Oh, that's a no. Fredo does not like citron peppercorns. Fred sleeps at the foot of the bed sometimes, and then he leaves in the middle of the night when he gets sick and tired of my farts. I don't know if you can use weed butter. I guess. I've never cooked with weed butter before, so. Fred, are you a good boy? Are you a good boy? So we had like a flash storm today in New York, and I forgot to close the windows before I left for my doctor's appointment. And I came back and there was just like a trail of water puddled in the middle of my living room because I guess my flooring isn't even, so it just like all trailed to the middle. And Fred was perched on the chair in our kind of foyer area opposite the bookshelf, just looking really scared and dismayed. And I was like, I'm sorry, buddy. I didn't know it was gonna rain that bad. So it must have been really loud and wet and dark. Okay, we're ready for the last taste test. So this one smells a little more traditionally, almost like red. It smells more like red. And this one is the one that looks a little more fuzzier, but it's not really fuzzy. It just looks like, I don't know how to describe it, guys. I'm losing my capacity to think. Ooh. I believe weed is at least decriminalized, if not legalized, in New York. Okay. Okay. I'm ready. Okay. Oh yeah. This one is a little more bitter, actually. Even more bitter. Ooh. Hits really strong. Very numbing. Very, very numbing. But it also leaves a very nice fragrance in my mouth, you know? And it leaves a very nice citrusy pucker. So I'm actually more inclined to say I might purchase the second one. Because I think it would, it's more potent. So I think once it's toasted and it's ground and powdered, if you use that in cooking, there's a lot more flavor and nuance to it. So it's not great for eating straight, but just think of it as what has the most potential to spice up your life. So there you have it, folks. Purchase the uglier ones. So I guess you can't judge a book by its cover. And that concludes our scheduled programming. I don't know if anybody else has anything they want to bring up. Is my hater here? Please speak up if you are. I would love to debate with you on live. Has it been posed? What a hypocrite I am? It would make my day. Yeah, Dawn, Melissa. If you followed my Instagram stories last night, there was someone who posted on the latest Budget Eats under the top comment at the time as a reply that it was very hypocritical and a lot of like cognitive dissonance was happening because I do Budget Eats and Aaron takes very fancy flights. Sorry, I had to close the window because it was very loud. And the hypocrisy is because both of us post very frequent posts on why capitalism is no bueno, and we are very critical of it. And the person was basically like, okay, but you obviously come from very rich families and you're taking advantage of capitalism while you're criticizing it. And that made me giggle because I don't know how they know that Aaron and I come from rich families. Also, I guess Aaron and I are probably in the global 1% because the rest of the world is pretty fucked, but we're certainly by no means rich. Neither one of us has ever made six figures. I worked minimum wage jobs in restaurants for 4.5 years. I made $8,000 for the whole year doing a teaching fellowship the year after college graduation. My parents are immigrants. My mom has worked at the same nonprofit for the past 20 years without much of a raise, and they actually decreased her pay because they're a nonprofit organization and nonprofits are kind of fucked. So it's very interesting to see that. But also the idea that you can't criticize capitalism while partaking in its offerings is very interesting to me. They also brought up the point that there's a difference between partaking in the essentials or the necessary evils, such as food, shelter, and clothing, and there's a difference between flying, they kept insisting first class, but Aaron would like to clarify that it's business class, especially during a pandemic to a country, which, there's some validity to traveling during COVID, but given that Aaron is fully vaccinated and he's following a lot of procedures as safely as possible, and it's doing a lot for his mental health to be elsewhere, I'm more okay with him traveling now. But going back to the issue of whether or not you can actually be a consumer while criticizing the system that you're consuming in, it's just a very slippery slope of what makes something a necessary evil and what you're allowed to partake in versus what you're not allowed to partake in if you want to be critical of the system, Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting that people would go to lengths to make an account just to make comments like that. Do I really offend you that much that you have to make an account to comment on my partner who's not even in this episode of Budget Eats on his personal life details and his personal decisions to travel? And do you, I really wish Snickle were here tonight with us because I just really want to ask Snickle, what do you get out of dragging me? I want to know what you want out of this, and I want to give it to you. I want to make you happy. I'm a people pleaser. So what do you want? You want to see me fail? You want to see me get canceled? What is it? What is it that will satisfy you? And I just think it's funny. I just think it's really funny. It's a valid concern. Yes, traveling during COVID, gray area, but Aaron is vaccinated, so. But also, what can we consume under capitalism? that will make us not part of the problem? That's a very interesting question. It really made me think, and that's why I'm giving Snickle the time of day. It's not because I want to like feed the troll per se, but I do think it's a very interesting conversation because it kind of propels forward this narrative that you can't critique the system you're in unless you're actively bottom of the barrel suffering, right? Like, I can only critique capitalism if I'm out on the streets without a home, without health insurance, without any food security whatsoever, and I can be a valid example of why the system is failing, and only then am I qualified enough to speak on the matter as a person who's not for capitalism. I feel like the same line of reasoning was pitched to me during our discussions of Israel and Palestine. Let's get demonetized again, guys. Which we can just safe word watermelon. But there was a lot of comments that were like, well, you don't know the history of Israel, therefore you can't speak on this because all that you're speaking to is very shallow, it's very cherry-picked through, and you don't have any historical context for any of this, and you're not a reliable source of information. So I feel like there's a lot of rhetoric around gatekeeping critiques of certain systems of oppression. That's like, well, you're not part of the oppressed enough to speak for the oppressed, and you don't know what you're talking about. And look at you being contradictory, and look at you being, I don't know, I just, yeah, Dawn, exactly. I didn't realize I had to take a vow of poverty to hate capitalism. Yeah, like Michelle Diane, capitalism can work the same way that communism can work, but we haven't really made it work for a lot of people under both of those ideologies. And so it does make you think, you know, where does the trouble lie? The trouble probably just lies in us being really insecure and hungry as individuals, and in our grab for a sense of security in a very brief existence. Like, we're all trying to escape death, and therefore we grab power and wealth and oppress others to feel more powerful and to delay the sensation of, wow, we're mortal and we're gonna die, and you can't help but move towards death. So I do feel like accepting death as a wholesome part of life is very important in not only validating your own existence and being present, but also by accepting death and by accepting your mortality, it brings you closer to others, and it frees you from having to keep running away from the end. Yeah, Rios Fernandez, yeah, we all suffer under capitalism. It's like any form of oppression. We all suffer under it. Some people suffer less under it currently, but we are all being held to the standard of what is good, what is bad, and that's a prison. It's a prison of sorts. We're not really freed. We're not really freed from our fears. We're not really freed from our insecurities. They exist, but they just tend to manifest in material lack for those who are less advantaged and for those who are less fortunate and unlucky and at the bottom of the societal barrel, so to speak. So, yep. I like that anytime I'm criticizing the actions of the Israeli government and their violence towards Palestinians, that it becomes a narrative of, oh, you're anti-Jew, like you're being anti-Semitic, as if all Jewish people are pro-Israeli, and as if Israel stood for all Jewish people everywhere. It's just, it's very interesting. Fred, he's asleep. If the working class produces everything, then everything belongs to them. That's the way it should work. But the world never works the way it should, huh? Yeah. Lori says the only way to make things better is to look at them and critique them. You don't have to know all the history of everything to have a valid opinion. Yeah, and it's kind of like critiquing cooking, you know? Like, I want to know what you like, and I want to know what makes you happy, and therefore I want to know what you think, honestly. And it's totally fine if you want to critique me, because I want to approve. Anytime you shut down critique, it's probably because it hit an insecurity and it hit something that you want to keep closeted. And you don't want to confront that. I shut down all the time when Aaron critiques me in our relationship and in my personal life. Very valid critiques that comes from him. Things that I should work on as a person. But I get very defensive and very reactive and attacky when he brings those up because it hit a nerve in me. It hit a nerve that reminded me and resonated me of how much I don't like that aspect of myself. And that's when I shut down and start attacking him. So you have to think about what triggers you and why it triggers you and why it leads you to react the way that you do. Why does criticism hurt you so much? Is it because you actually already acknowledged it inside yourself, that that is something that you're doing that is wrong? So, hi Gianna. Yes, I have cooked with chayote. Is that the way you say it? I believe in Chinese it's called, is it called 和手瓜 or 佛手瓜? It's either Buddhist palm melon or closed palm melon. I'm probably thinking of 和手because it looks like a closed palm. But my mom used to cook it all the time. It used to be like 3 for $1 when I was growing up, like middle school, high school times. And so it was always like one of those cheap vegetables that my mom would pick up whenever it was on sale, and she would stir fry it. And it would just be like this kind of like tender but still crispy, slightly sweet and slightly savory thing. I wasn't really into it stir fry, but it's kind of like zucchini to me. It's like a crunchier zucchini in terms of flavor. Yeah, closed palm. Okay. Do you distinguish between critique and trolling? You know, sometimes I have problems making that distinction. Oh, I just cut my hand. How did I do that? How? Yikes. What did I even cut my hand on? There's like nothing. Guys, I just cut my hand and I don't know how. That's how fragile my skin is. Sometimes I can't tell. And sometimes I think the things that I choose to respond to are things that I'm worried in myself. So that's why I wanted to discuss this, because I do feel like sometimes I can be very hypocritical. Like, I am participating in a system. Like, I've done branded stuff for Delish before. Even before I was full staff, I lent my face and likeness to basically like a Jimmy Dean sausage ad, which I didn't get paid for, because it was just considered part of my job on that day, and I agreed to it, stupidly. And they're owned by another big parent company, maybe Tyson, one of those like really evil meat companies. So I am hypocritical. I am at the same time making a living and making money out of selling my soul and face to these huge ass companies that I'm at the same time saying, hey, you suck because you torture workers, animals, and the environment, and you give us shit food, and you make a killing profit off of that misery. So Persimmons are the best things. Yep. I'm just happy that I get to eat mashed potatoes and sweet potato noodles. I've never tried peanuts roasted with chipotle pepper. Is it good? I mean, I'm pretty aware that I'm not the worst human being out there, but I'm also not the best human being out there, and I'm okay with that. And this is why I welcome discussions that critique me, because I think this is the only way that I can stay aware of what I'm doing wrong and what I'm doing well. And so, you know, even if I'm being trolled, I welcome it because it's part of the evaluation in our internet landscape. It's really fun to see what triggers other people, and it's really fun to see how much support a troll can get, because that comment did get a lot of thumbs ups on the video. So Snickle was not the only person who was thinking those thoughts. So, you know, just because I don't personally agree with it doesn't mean that it's not valid at all, and just because it's trolly and attacky doesn't mean that there's no validity to it. It's based on some validity at the end of the day. So it's just where you take that troll comment, you know, because you can take a troll comment and you can actually open up a discussion about it. And you want some? I don't have any for you anymore because I ate it all because I'm a greedy bitch. Did you know I'm a greedy bitch? Yeah, you did. Ooh, I hope that moth was tasty. They use the unripe jackfruit as a meat substitute because of the texture. So before it turns sweet, it can be pulled into these little fibers that can mimic pork or chicken. Fred doesn't really like kisses most of the time, but he does like scritches. 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 Yes. 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 What a sweet boy. Good night. 4 a.m. Wow. Have a good time in bed sleeping. Do you worry that if you get more famous, the critique trolling could get overwhelming if you stay open to it? I think the important thing is to keep a discussion going. I don't want to ever get too defensive about being trolled, you know? Tempeh? I like tempeh if they cook it well. Oh, joy, that sucks. Terry, you're allergic to bread. That sucks too. Okra, I used to hate okra, but I've grown to love it. My first time liking okra was pickled. I have yet to try fried, and I really want to try it. And my mom insists on cooking it because she insists it's really healthy for me, so. Fred pleases me just by being here, so. don't know yet. Hey, Fred. No. 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 I said no. You know it's a no. You know it's a no, bud. Sorry, guys. Noreen, you gotta do the second dose. It's not complete. Is it really that bad? Is the side effects really that bad? Some people do have it very bad. Sorry, I missed a few questions when Fred was jumping on the counter, so feel free to ask me again. Yes, I Flovented Fred in the very beginning. I have a pickled carrots recipe, and I haven't built my pickled daikon recipe yet, but that will be out. And those are all going to be on Delish. Well, Fred jumps anytime he wants. This cheese is so lovely. It's so sweet. Like, not sugary sweet, but just like naturally nutty sweet. There's a lot of cheeses that profess to be nutty and sweet, but this is the first cheese where I've tasted it and actually have gone, wow, it is actually nutty and sweet. Julia is very tall. I don't know exactly how tall, but she seems very tall to me. I don't have a carrot raisin salad recipe, but that sounds amazing. Okra is meant to be snotty, but if you fry it, it's a little bit less so. But it's a snottiness that's really good for you. It's the same thing that makes oatmeal snotty. Oh, favorite fruit? Apple. Favorite veggie? The first thing that came to mind was carrots, because I eat it all the time. But it's really hard for me to pick a favorite. I love them all. I love parsnips. Oh, the cheese? It's called a Sartori cheese, S-A-R-T-O-R-I, and it's called, this particular one is called Rum Runner Bella Vitano, and it's from Wisconsin. Gus is very cute. Indeed, he is very cute. I don't actually love that grainy texture so much as I just love the taste of that cheese. I wish the texture were a little bit less grit-like and a little creamier, but it's pretty good. Maybe, I get that. I get the brie thing. Sometimes if you roast the rind, it's really good. And then you could put a little bit of Calabrian chili oil on that rind after you empty out the innards of the brie. You could basically treat it like a soup bowl, you know? Scoop out the brie on the inside, and then you leave that little wheel bowl, and then you roast it with a little bit of chili oil on the inside and spices. Are apples grainy? Who taught me to cook? Food Network? Do you consider yourself more or less of an outwardly emotional person? I'm definitely more. I'm definitely more big-mouthed. My mom's very private. She would never say a tenth of the things that I say to strangers on the internet. But I find freedom, uncomfortable freedom sometimes, but I find freedom in just being transparent. Very, very transparent. And it might work to my demise someday, but I might also not live that long, so it's fine. Yeah. Any apple can be grainy when overripe, for sure. Good Eats, amazing show. Loved Alton Brown. Crushed on him for a couple of years. My mom does watch my stream. She kind of watches it to like feel like I'm there with her, so it's nice. I haven't seen her since last September, and before then I only saw her last March. So I see her like, I'm planning on seeing her tomorrow because I'm going to the dentist and we can meet midway. So it seems like we have a 6-month trajectory gap between each visit. Yes. Ooh, blue goat cheese. Give it to me. That sounds delicious. Spread some on bread. Yum. Put a little bit of smoked paprika, a little drizzle of olive oil, a little herb on top, maybe a little bit like, I don't know. I almost feel like it could go well with cilantro. How does one become a contestant on Chopped? And also, I don't think I would do well on Chopped, honestly, guys. You keep saying I will, but I don't think I will. I mean, shooting Budget Eats is always stressful, so it was stressful in a different way to have Chelsea shoot it, but it wasn't too stressful because I only had to do it for a day as opposed to a whole week. I am an only child, and yeah. Yep, Delish is now behind a paywall. You get 4 or 6 free articles a month, but Hearst made the move to a subscription-based platform for all the brands under it. We at the food team at Delish was not pleased, but it was something that we had no control over. Orders come from up above, and we just carry them out. So, I don't know. They insist that it's not contributing to decline in traffic, but I don't see how that would not be the case if you're putting a paywall up and people don't want to pay for things that were previously available at no charge. But once again, what do I know? I know nothing at all. Nope. I'm clueless as a little busy bee. What did you mean by the distinction of calling Aaron your partner versus your boyfriend? Yes, people were asking me DMs, and I was like, address it on the live. I've talked about our relationship before. Aaron and I consider ourselves life partners. We live together, we take responsibilities together, like paying rent, taking care of Fred, but we are also in an open relationship. I'm more identifying as asexual and he's more allosexual. And so we don't have a conventional quote unquote relationship. And I just feel like the term boyfriend is very restrictive and in a lot of ways doesn't feel right when I want to introduce him as someone in my life. So I like the word partner because it is in a lot more ways freer as a term. I feel like boyfriend brings up a lot of connotations of like what are the supposedly appropriate dynamics to have. Allosexual just means normative sexual. So in a lot of ways when we said, you know, like, it's kind of, so asexual is to allosexual, for example, like transgender is to cisgender. Instead of saying transgender people are not normative, you also have a balance of these are cisgender people people who are born with their given genders in alignment with their identity. And so allosexual is a term that seeks to normalize asexual people. So instead of saying asexuals are not normative and sexual people are normative, you have asexuals and allosexuals. Did you have to come out to your parents? I mean, my mom asks questions, and I tell her, if you're gonna ask me questions, I'm gonna be truthful with you, and so only ask the questions that you actually want to know the answers to. And so she knows that I'm in an open relationship, and she doesn't like it, but it is what it is. It's my life. I gotta do what I gotta do. So yeah, and it does feel strange to refer to a 32-year-old man as a boy too. That doesn't feel right, you know. Yes, I tried the peppercorns. Man, Jess, you missed everything, girl. Gianna, what are you confused about? We can clarify. Yeah, I mean, Aaron and I have been together for almost 10 years together. He and I are past the boyfriend-girlfriend stage in our relationship. I feel like that was like 3 chapters ago in our relationship. And we have since evolved. And so when I don't really get bothered when people comment like, hey, your hubby this, your boyfriend that, but it would make me feel so much better if people started addressing him as my partner, which is the way that I introduced him on screen. When we did the Aaron Diet Week, I introduced him as my partner. Just to say that, like, there's a medley and assortment of relationship types out there, and we just have to be aware of them. There isn't only one narrative for us to follow. And I feel like that is liberating. If we can start to acknowledge that you can be what you want to be as opposed to what you have been told you should be, it might be nice to have that ability to have variety. I don't believe in marriage as anything more than a legal and financial exchange. Do you feel like partner makes your relationship feel transactional? I mean, I feel like all relationships are somewhat transactional once you're beyond the honeymoon, infatuation, crush, oh my god, so in love with you phase. I feel like it turns into a partnership because you are, in a lot of ways, taking care of each other and making space for taking on responsibilities together. So yes, it is transactional, but I don't want to take on the connotations of the word transactional because that just sounds really cold and sterile, and it's not that. It's just more adult, you know, you take on actual practical responsibilities with each other as opposed to just, wow, you are my soulmate, you are my everything, I want to be with you for the rest of my life, and let's not think about rent or money or whether or not we both qualify for health insurance, all the baggage of life. Kareth, I didn't say no sex, but I am more asexual than he is. Yeah, I mean, her person, that could work too. You can also have a non-romantic life partner, which, you know, like, I feel like we have transformed into a phase where it's becoming less romantic, simply because it's become very long in duration. You slip into companionship more, and so I think for a while I kind of grieved that change and transformation, but it's kind of like graduating college. You don't want to leave that place because you've made so many friends and you finally mastered it. And you finally feel like you're in control of a lot of things, and then you have to leave. But that's the way that life is. You have to graduate. You have to move on, and you have to change, and you have to shift, and you have to take on new personalities and new responsibilities and new experiences, and you have to be open to all of it. Otherwise, you're just going to be stuck grieving for what has already passed you by, and that's not going to be happy. Yes, MBR, I like that. Partners is we do life together. Exactly, we do life together. Companion is a really good word. I agree. I like companion too. Eliza, stop procrastinating. All right, guys. Any final questions? If not, I'll bid you good night, and I'll go take my shower now because I feel freaking gross. Grossy gross. There's a lot of polyamorous people that refer to new relationship energy, all the excitement that happens in the beginning. Yeah, I mean, that is nice. That's a nice little feeling, but it can't last forever. Yay! Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining and eating along with me and watching Fred, and maybe I'll see you tomorrow. Happy weekend for those of you who are working through the weekend. I'm so sorry. Happy not actual weekend to you. Take care.